the news this evening, jurors in the Larry Hoover conspiracy trial got a chance to hear tape-recorded conversations for the first time today.
It's real in the Windy City, dog. I grew up with a new breed of black Gangster Disciple. Vice lords that had black souls who was placed in the cycle. Plus we stood alone, both corners and slavery to hustle. King and Latin folks who gave a fuck about nothing. It's Chicago, this how we play around here. Niggas be on bullshit every day down here. Just like that.
Why do you believe that you should be released?
Basically, I think I've done my time. I paid my debt to society.
Shaolin. Niggas don't know about this shit down here, the gangs and all that.
Chicago, I think more than any other city, even LA, is a city of neighborhoods. And I mean, it's not just a phrase. I mean, you can go 4 blocks, 6 blocks in Chicago and you are in a different neighborhood with a different name. And the city of Chicago even designates all these different neighborhoods on a map. It's like we are in a city of maybe 50 or 60 different little towns, but it's all the city of Chicago. And I think from way back when, even in the 1900s, early 1900s, late 1800s, you had all these different ethnic groups that came into Chicago, and they said, this is my part of the city, and you're not going to come in it. And if you do, I'm going to knock you over the head, or whatever. And this has been part of Chicago's history from the beginning. You had the Irish gangs, you had the Italian gangs in the early 1900s. That kind of led through the mid-1990s. And then you had these street gangs, the Hispanic and black street gangs. And they are dominant in a lot of the neighborhoods in Chicago too. It's the same mentality as all the other ethnic groups had in Chicago. You're not coming into my neighborhood.
You know, like, Chicago is known for the takeover, man. You know what I'm saying? We created the takeover. Niggas wouldn't even be able to say they was gangsters if it wasn't for the shot. You know what I'm saying? Niggas say, okay, well, Al Capone in Brooklyn, that nigga wasn't shit until he got here. It was already gangsters here before he got here. You see what I'm saying? That's the part they never tell you about. And it was black gangsters like you and me. You know what I'm saying? Sam Young and niggas that started the lottery, and then that shit went to the Queen and Harlem and all. But all that shit was here.
Every gang originated from some type of substance from Chicago, you know what I mean? Whether it was GDs, whether it was the Blackstone Ranges, whether all that.
The game is the same anywhere. We can go to LA and go out to Compton, you find the same stuff. It's about survival, it's about deprivation, it's about...
If a real G can't recognize another real G, then that's some bullshit, you know what I
mean? Like in this community, goddammit, if I grow up in this neighborhood and this GD's over here, I'm a GD, cause I can't go over there where the Stones is and be saying I'm a neutron. Niggas see me with the folks every day, so even if you wasn't a gangster, you was a gangster, if that's where you grew up at. That's just how Chicago is. It ain't like we grow up and we say, goddammit, man, I'm finna choose, or my goal in life is to be in the gang. This is just the way of life, you know what I'm saying?
You is what you is because where you stay at. You BD if you stay in the BD neighborhood. You GD if you stay in the GD neighborhood. You MC if you stay in the MC neighborhood. Wherever you stay at, that's what you is.
Break down gangster. What's the definition of a gangster? Yeah, break it down. Oh man. Oh, okay. I guess the definition of a gangster, man, be strong superior, man, that has a henchman, you know, the henchman behind him. Break down the cycle. Cycle is fathers. Fathers are gangsters.
Tell me about some of the gangs that you seen while you was growing up.
Every last one of them motherfuckers. If you're not in it, you're around it, you know somebody is doing it, you know what I'm saying? It's just a life here, you know. They got this shit out in LA, but this the home of the original gangbangers, man. I mean, if you can't do it here, you can't do it no motherfucking way.
And I agree with that because Chicago's known for people like Al Capone and all that. But let me tell you, which one do you think was the most influential gang during your upbringing in Chicago?
Them gangsters. Them GDs, baby. Them GDs was on their shit. But that's because I grew up on won't say anything street, but them, you know, the Stones was doing their things, and you know, shit. When I was young, shit, we didn't even think Larry Hoover was alive. And then I went to school with one of his sons in grammar school. Then I went to school with one of his sons in high school. I used to be like, damn, this shit is for real. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't no myth. It ain't no joke. Niggas do get their ass whooped out here about them gangs still.
Stand the fuck up. I'm from the city of Al Capone, Larry Hoover and Jeff Ford, Fluky Stokes, King David and Willie Lord. Bang out, hats to the right or the left. Jump niggas in they side till they lose they breath. Stomp niggas up with pride cause we ride to the death. Got the coke on the block so we strive for wealth. Every gang got lit so we out for self. And we killing up each other till it's no one left.
They kill a lot of people. They killed a lot of people?
No, man. They kill everything.
Tell me what it's like coming from Chicago, GD town. What's that like?
It's kind of hard, you know what I'm saying? If you want GD, you probably was getting beat up. If you want BD, you was getting beat up. Right. From the low end, from where I'm from, you know what I'm saying? I stay down on 41st, but everybody gang bang at 43rd, Stateway, all that, you know what I'm saying? But, I mean, you know, they had their thing.
Coming up with the wild hundreds, man. You had to be claiming something, you had to.
So what block
things going in.
What block you come from?
Wild hundreds, man.
He wanted to talk about coming up in the era in the GD era. It was rivals. You had the GDs, you had the brothers. I came up in that era, you know, back in the late '80s and stuff. It was a little hectic, man. Word up when you was younger. Cats waiting after school, GDs all across the street. Down the street you got the brothers clashing at White Castles, McDonald's, all types of shit. GDs putting 6-point stars in the middle of the sidewalk. Students walking outside of the sidewalk on the street because you couldn't walk over that star or niggas would beat you half to death. Couldn't bang your hat a certain way. You better wear your shit straight like this. Like this. No, none of that. No, none of that. No, don't even angle your shit.
I'm doing a documentary right now on gangs from Chicago. One of my targets is Larry Hoover.
I'm not sure I want to get into that because I don't understand enough about this to get. I can deal with what we're going to deal with today.
Okay.
See, the reason why a lot of niggas don't be talking about GD because they got the wrong perception of it. Everybody's still talking about Gangster Disciple. That's more like in the 80s, man. It's bigger and better things. It's more about growth and development.
It ain't just about not talking. It's about knowing your constitutional rights.
Tell me, in your opinion, what does GD mean to you? What is and we don't have to specify GD. What does?
Don't ask that one. I'm not answering that one.
What does GD mean to you, or just in your upbringing?
What that is, I really don't know.
Anybody here know what that is?
Gangs ain't just now started. There was gangs before these black gangs came even into existence. There was gangs before that. There was the Hamburgers, you know, and some of the other Irish gangs that was coming up. And they were killing people. They was extorting people. They were doing all the things that they say blacks are doing now. And the thing is that they went on to become legitimate. That was supposed to have been an adolescent period that they went through. But they had people of the older group who molded them and guided them into City Hall, into industry, into the other departments of government, and now they are upstanding citizens within the society in which we live.
In order to know a man, you must know the content of his character. You can't really judge a man based on what he says. Some jail shit, fuck what a nigga say, watch what he do. But in order to find out if that's true or not, you gotta give that man a chance. It don't really matter if he was a GD, if he was a mole, if he was a blood, if he was a crip, hustler, whatever you is. Somebody gotta give you a chance. And although we all make mistakes, we could be redeemed. So I ask myself, what is the content of Hoover's character?
Well, anytime you do a extensive amount of time, it can have two effects. It can harden you, or it can make you think. And I've thought.
What have you thought? What are the thoughts like on a day-to-day basis in incarceration?
Well, basically, you think about preparing yourself for the future and preparing yourself for one day when you will return to the streets.
You're prepared?
Yes, I'm prepared. I've got employment. I want to do something for the community. I see these kids coming in here every day with 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Their life is wasted just like I wasted mine. Because ideologies, street gangs, one teenager don't like the other teenager because the way he wears his hat. Because his ideology is different from his. A disciple don't like a vice lord. We all black people.
He has always been a lovely child. And all this stuff he gotten into, I don't know why and what reason he to get into it, because he was a child has always understood. He would go out there, if he took a little wagon and went to the A&P. At that time, we had A's and P's, and delivered people's groceries. Larry was gonna bring that money home and give it to me. He made sure that we didn't suffer even from a kid coming up. That's the type of person Larry was.
Well, first of all, it was just an honor to meet him. He's a quiet person, highly intelligent, very nice, very good brother. And we had an opportunity to meet. He was somebody that all my life, I used to be a GD. So brothers had always told me that I was somebody that Mr. Hoover would like to meet, and that and that would embrace me. And I was always a thinking person. I found Larry Hoover to be highly intelligent, a true born leader. And it was interesting that I had saw on national television one night, they were talking to Bill Clinton about a gang, they had a gang task force throughout the United States, and they were talking about the disciples, and they mentioned Larry Hoover's name. And so the next day when I saw Mr. Hoover, I told him that I saw them talking about him on national news, and I was concerned. And Mr. Hoover said to me, he said, man, I know I'm never getting out. He said, I'm not concerned about that. What I'm concerned about is my family. He's a true giant. That man had no regard for himself, but had regard for his family.
He's very family orientated, and he was a good brother. We had 3 brothers. Well, I did have 3 brothers. I only have 1 now. 2 is deceased. But Larry was always understanding. He was the oldest. During holidays, he was always there. Christmas time, by my mom being the mom and dad in certain situations, he would always say, Mom, don't worry about me. Mm-hmm. Make sure Diane and Ronnie and Charles Ray was taken care of. We had a lot of good times together growing up.
Giving it to you from a neutron's perspective, Larry Hoover stopped a lot of bullshit in the hood that the police could never stop.
He's an excellent guy. I remember once when we was about 10 years old, he was playing in the street, and a guy he was playing on the pole, and a fellow had put me to sleep. Exposed me till I remember Fred put me to sleep, and I fell out on the street, and all other chumps was around laughing, and nobody came to my aid but Larry.
And what Larry do?
He picked me up, shook me out, got me back conscious.
Yes. When I think of Larry Hoover, I think of 2 scenarios. One is this monster that the government wanted to create. That this was this horrible person who ran a gang from a prison for over 20 years. And then I think about the Larry Hoover, the individual that I know, who is a very bright, very articulate, a young man who has the ability to influence people, to encourage people to do the right things, a person who is just a very dynamic individual.
All I can say is that I can't take back what I've done. Obviously, I've been convicted of it. All I can all I can do is try to do something to ensure that this doesn't happen again. And by using the time that I've done and the thought process I've developed to try to make sure no other youngsters don't do the same thing I did.
They said time is a virtue like Matrix. A weak mind in the hurt you get play tricks. Gifted rhymes that can curse you like J shit. Like 8 miles for the virtue can't say shit. I walk with Father Time as I spit this rhyme. Footprints in the sand like a Christian sign. George Bush prime time couldn't stop this grind. They just want me to sing Akon like Shine, so I...
They say gangs are usually started because there's a lack of parental guidance. But that wasn't really so with Hoover. Because of his family values and his beliefs, it made him a natural leader. People seemed to flock to him. By 1969, Mr. Hoover had started an organization that had spread through much of Chicago, and it's estimated there were 10,000 members strong. Perhaps this is where the problem really started.
You gotta realize when this thing was first put together, you know what I'm saying? It was BGDN. Now we're gonna talk straight out, we're gonna talk straight out. And when it was BGDN, you had David Barksdale, you know what I'm saying? And you had Larry Hoover. And as they come together as one, you know what I'm saying, it became BGDN, Black Gangster Disciple Nation.
With the players of power in position, Hoover and Barksdale started to flourish. GD spread rapidly. But in 1973, according to court documents, Hoover allegedly orders the execution of William Pookie Young for robbing one of his narcotics houses. Hoover is arrested and charged with murder. And although he never pulled the trigger, Hoover is found guilty and sentenced to 150 to 200 years. 23 years old, in Statesville maximum security, with 2 football fields facing him for numbers, Hoover still continues to grow. While incarcerated, he starts to establish guidelines for his followers. And like any good thinker, he puts it down on paper, and the paper is known as the blueprint.
This blueprint is a bound copy of a jailhouse manual. ATF recovered this manual as a jailhouse, almost a Bible for the street gang. Growth and development. It's GD. It's the same thing. This is just a bound version to cover up what these guys are putting together in jail to structure their street gang on.
It's a reshaping. When you take away a man's freedom, then he looks at life in a whole different manner. He knows the importance of his own mortality and the importance of human life itself. His values change.